how truck driving became the worst job in America. But stick around to the end and I'm going to show you how a group of these truck drivers have taken this job and turned it into one of the best and funnest opportunities you can find today. So stay tuned. You see, back in the 1960s and 70s, trucking was heavily regulated. There were people like the labor unions and federal government that really had an iron fist rule over that trucking industry and forced companies to provide top-notch equipment and upper middle class pay and benefits. And then along came the 1980s. A group of people got greedy and started thinking, you know what, if we could deregulate that industry, we could sell a whole lot more trucks and equipment, we could put a whole lot more people out there on that road, we could turn it into the basket case that it has become today. They could make a lot of money off of it and have a lot of problems. So we all know back in the 60s and 70s, going back to that the trucking industry was a lot more organized. If you were a driver, whatever city you're based out of, you would pick up your load in that city, you would drive a few hours out, swap trailers with another driver, and drive back home. That trailer would end up going where it needs to go to drop that load. Okay? And so these drivers were home every night, they made really good money, they had really good benefits. Well, the problem happened after deregulation, where anybody and everybody could go out there and just start a trucking company. It only costs $4,000 to even start a trucking company these days, as far as getting your authority and insurance and all that lined out. Now, as far as equipment, there's a lot of ways to get equipment, and they're pretty cheap too, actually. So, what it did was it opened the doors for a lot of newbies to come into the industry that were not organized, that did not have the experience to be starting a company, and it just became a basket case. What they basically did was they just bought a bunch of equipment, hired a bunch of drivers, sent them out there and hoped for the best. It was like, it's a lot, to give you an example, it's a lot like if you just threw a bunch of corn on the ground and sent 1,000,000 chickens in there to peck it all up. That's what it's really like. It is monotonous. It is a basket case. They don't know what they're doing. They're breaking every labor law in the book. Drivers don't get home like they should. They have no home life. They have no life outside that truck. It's turning into a hotbed for creating mental illness. It's just horrible. There's a lot of people that are ending up really sick from it. Okay, so there's a group of drivers out there that got together and started talking about this, and some of them started talking to these expats that are overseas, that have retired and left America and gone overseas, and they got with these guys, and these drivers started getting their passports. I've got mine. Okay, so what they do is they finally got their heads together and said, you know what? We don't need all these rules. We don't need to unionize. We don't need to do anything except simply look out for ourselves, because there is no loyalty among these trucking companies as far as for the drivers. These companies do not care about the drivers at all. All they care about is money. Well, if that's the case, then we need to be looking out for ourselves. So they just decided what are the worst parts of the year to drive a truck. They're not going to let us go home every day or every week and have a normal life, so we're going to make the most of it. Those worst parts of the year, we're not going to drive. And so they all just, they shut the trucks down. They hop a plane, fly to some other country. They fly to Europe or Southeast Asia or Latin America, where the dollar goes a long ways and they can live a long time for a little money. So they're not driving the whole year anymore. And I myself, I don't drive during the summer anymore, because I've done it. The past few years that I tried to drive during the summer, it just ended up a disaster. So I said, I'm not going to do it anymore. Summer's my time of the year. That's when I like to get out and live my life and do stuff. I'm not giving the trucking industry another one of my summers, because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, and another thing too, the winter when the roads are bad, I don't drive then either. And there's a lot of drivers that are starting to do that. They're shutting down, and some of them are shutting down in December. A lot of them are shutting down in January and February, and they travel overseas. They go somewhere where the weather's nice and they can enjoy themselves. Well, so here's the thing. That's what we need to do in it. Instead of letting these jobs and these companies dictate how we live our lives, no. We're going to decide how we live our lives. We're going to decide how that we're going to enjoy our lives. And if they don't let you come back, when you do come back, so what? There's so many other places out there to work. And that is something I've learned over the years, is don't care, if that job sucks, I'll quit. I don't give a crap. There's so many of them out there, man, and I've never had a problem getting another one. And guess what? It seemed like every company I went to after the one that I quit was a little better than the one before, because I was a little more careful. And then finally I ended up with one like the Asian Mai, but the one he does that's seasonal. And I really like this. I like having a seasonal job because I'm able to travel and enjoy my life. So Trucker Gilligan, who's been in a lot of the live videos lately, him and Greg Burgess, some of the others that are sharing their stories with us, I really appreciate that, because you know what, it shines a new light on this lifestyle, on the trucking lifestyle, where you don't have to just go out there and spin your wheels and never have a goal to shoot for. You don't have to, you don't have to suffer forever and ever driving that freaking truck with no time off. You can decide, hey, I'm only going to drive during these months out of the year. Okay, and these months I'm going to travel and have a good time. Just got to save some money back. Save some money back during the months that you are driving. Get your passport, and then during the months you don't want to drive, just take off. Go do what you want. I guarantee you'll have a job when you come back, because if that company won't freaking hire you, they won't let you come back. Guess what deregulation did? It put a whole lot more of them out there that will hire you. So anyway, so what do you guys think about this? I think it's a new spin on trucking. It's a new spin on trucking that I really like. So that's how truck driving became the worst job in America, but this group of freaking expats are turning it into the best job in America. Turning lemons into lemonade. I love that. So guys, I appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. I believe I may do a live video tonight. Let's see. We got the presidential debate coming up, and I'd like to talk about that too. So thanks for watching. Till next time.